right, and we are back here on the GSMC Football Podcast. And for the second part of the show, we're going to get into talking about the NFL MVP race. Who's leading the pack currently? Look at the top candidates right now. And I think it's between two quarterbacks at the moment, and that is Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. Right now, they are probably, well, not probably, they are the ones leading the pack. And, they're both playing really well this season. I know Lamar against the Steelers did not play great, and for some reason against the Steelers, he just doesn't really play well. But it happens, and, with the game that Josh Allen just had against the Chiefs and, the win that the Bills picked up against the Chiefs, that kind of, I guess, put him ahead at the moment. But I do think that ultimately, I still think I would give it to Lamar. Kind of looking at their stats right now. So Josh Allen, he's been great when it comes to limiting the turnovers. Right now, he has 5 interceptions on the season. Each of his last 4 games, he has now thrown a pick, at least one pick. But on the season, 2,500 passing yards, 18 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. And then looking at Lamar Jackson's stats, pull them up. Lamar has 25 touchdowns to 3 picks, and he's at 2,800 yards passing. He also has 584 rushing yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. And when it comes to Josh Allen and his rushing stats, he has 316 rushing yards and 5 touchdowns. So it is close. It is definitely close. And one other guy that had his, team had a better record at this point, Joe Burrow would be right in that conversation. Joe Burrow has 27 touchdowns to 4 picks. And he has 3,000 passing yards. So if the Bengals were, 7-4 right now, Joe Burrow would be in this conversation. But he's not, because, he still is, but it's the record. The team record is really what hurts him and his chances. Because he's got more passing yards than Josh Allen. He's got more passing yards than Lamar. He's got more touchdowns than both of them. But, you're not going to give the MVP to a player that plays on a team with a losing record. Right now it's between these two guys. And also some other honorable mentions too. Look at the running backs, Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry. They are having really good seasons. One of them is going to win Offensive Player of the Year, which is probably going to end up being Derrick Henry. He has been unbelievable. He has been as advertised with the Ravens bringing him in. That was such a great pairing. And, we'll see how he finishes this season out. He has scored a touchdown in every single game this season. And that was what Christian McCaffrey was doing last year. He's an automatic touchdown scorer. right now he's got 13 rushing touchdowns. He has a receiving touchdown as well. But yeah, he has 1,185 rushing yards. And can he get to 2,000? We'll see. He's definitely going to come close to it. And then for Saquon, his stats on the season, he has 1,137 rushing yards and 8 touchdowns. And you would think he would have more. The problem is when they get down inside the 5, the Eagles, they run the tush push, which, that hurts Saquon's chances of scoring. So, but he's definitely up. It's him and Derrick Henry for Offensive Player of the Year. And then also, Jared Goff, you got to put his name in the conversation as well. He's got 2,492 passing yards, 20 touchdowns to 9 picks. Got off to a slow start this year, but, myself and many others kept saying it's only a matter of time before he gets it going. And boy, have they ever. And we'll talk about the Lions in the next segment after their huge win over the Jaguars. And by huge, I mean they just destroyed them. We'll get into that in the next segment. But he's another name that you could throw in there as well, with the kind of season that he has had. But ultimately, it's going to come down to Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. That's who it's going to come down to. Patrick Mahomes' name is up there, of course, because it's Patrick Mahomes, and the Chiefs, of course, were undefeated until this past Sunday. But Mahomes' stats are not where they should be. I mean, the passing yards, he's got 2,400 yards passing, but he's got 15 touchdowns to 11 interceptions. It's not great. So, we'll see if Mahomes could turn it around. But, a little surprised by, looking at that touchdown-interception ratio. And I was kind of hoping my camera would stop acting up, but, of course, it continues. So we'll see if I can fix it. And, okay, I think that might have done it, hopefully. But, anyways, we'll see what happens. Now, for the Bills, I mean, if Josh Allen continues to play like this and maybe the Bills get the 1 seed, then maybe you're looking at him as getting the MVP. The Ravens this past week struggled a little bit offensively. Lamar didn't have a touchdown. Oh, no, he did have a touchdown to Zay Flowers in this game. Ravens only put... I mean, the Ravens should have won on Sunday, if we're being honest. If Justin Tucker makes his field goals, the Ravens win this game. But it just didn't happen. And also, you had Derrick Henry fumbling on the first drive of the game for the Ravens. So, that was a tough loss. But Lamar, outside of that game, I mean, he's been great. So, it's definitely going to be close. And I do wish the Bengals had a better record at this point, because then it would be, a 3-quarterback race between Burrow, Lamar, and Josh Allen. But he's kind of like that distant third player right now. Like I said, Jared Goff is there as well. Got to give him the respect he deserves. The Lions are the best team in football right now. And we will see the Lions and the Bills match up against each other later this season. We got that matchup a couple years ago on Thanksgiving, and that was a good game. And it will be in Detroit once again with those two teams squaring off. So looking forward to that. But ultimately, we talked about this in our production meeting, this topic, and everybody pretty much said Josh Allen. But I don't think it's set in stone on, oh yeah, Josh Allen's running away with it. Lamar, it's between these two guys. And it's going to go back and forth the rest of the way. Like I said, the Ravens had a little bit of a hiccup with the loss to the Steelers, but they should get back on track. And we'll see how these two teams finish out. We'll see how these two quarterbacks finish out, and we'll have a better idea of who really deserves it. But I think if Lamar is able to win it, I mean, that's impressive. 3 MVPs. I know we need to see more success in the playoffs, but listen, you can't discount 3 MVPs if he's able to do it. Josh Allen is a player that deserves an MVP. He's been one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL for a long time. And it's really only a matter of time before he wins an MVP, and maybe it is this year. With a lot of the changes that the Bills have gone through this year, trading Stephon Diggs, who was a big part of Josh Allen elevating his game. Him no longer being there and Josh Allen continuing to put up big numbers this year with the different cast around him, or different pieces. Got to give him a lot of credit. So we'll see how he finishes out this year, how Lamar finishes out this year. We'll see if these two teams match up in the playoffs. I think the Bills would like to see the Ravens again, maybe, just to try to get revenge for that loss that they had earlier in the season, where the Ravens just ran all over them But we'll have to wait and see. We're going to see these two guys in it. We're going to see Mahomes in it, of course. Looks like C.J. Stroud and the Texans will win the AFC South. And, of course, you got the Steelers right now in first place in the North. You got the Broncos and the Chargers. So we'll maybe see Justin Herbert back in the playoffs. The Chargers continue to play how they're playing. And maybe we'll see a rookie quarterback in with Bo Nix and the Broncos, who looked really good on Sunday. So, should be fun. Playoffs always find a way to be good, but we still got some time before that. So, but let me know what you guys think. Who do you think will win the MVP in the NFL? Let me know in the comments. So before we go to break, just want to remind you guys once again to tip or donate and get your comments recognized. Make sure to go to the super chat button in the chat, and this will create any thought or comment you want to see me acknowledge throughout the live broadcast. It makes the show more lively, more entertaining between myself, the host, and you guys, the viewers. We appreciate you guys' viewership each and every day, so any contribution you can make to the show means the world to us as we put out content for you guys each and every day. And also, the other way to help out the show is by going to the link at the bottom of the show segment on the ticker, GSMCPodcast.net. That is GSMCPodcast.net. So when we come back from our next break, we will talk about the Lions and their win over the Jaguars as they improved to 9-1 on the season. And we'll just kind of get into that discussion. We'll talk about how well it went for them as they had an offensive explosion against the Jaguars. We'll talk about it from the Jaguars' perspective as well. We'll get into all that when we come back from our next break. So with that being said, stick around, and we'll be right back here on the GSMC Football Podcast.